Sarah Tenor, welcome back from the void.
Oh my god.
Oh, Tenor, long time no see.
Is this against TTOS? I hope not.
You need to use transference. Fucking shit. It shouldn't be that stupid and funny, but it is.
Oh, Tenno, if you use transference, you'll be a lot stronger. We're going to be showing you guys how to do a Kuva Lich hunt. Is it worth it in 2025 to do Kuva Lich hunting or Kuva Lich farming? And we're going to go ahead and touch base on that today. We're going to go ahead and cover that. I think it is, and there's a lot of reasons why, and we'll go into that here in a little bit. But first, what you guys would need to do in order to get this kicked off, in order to get it started, is 3 things. 1, you have to get Master Rank 5, which by the time you get the rest of the stuff done, you'll be there anyway. So that's basically a gimme. The second thing, you have to do the War Within quest, and then you have to do the Rising Tide quest. Once you get those done, you'll get access to your Railjack, and then you will also have a majority of the star chart done, for the most part, in order to get all this done and ready to go. Now, once you complete these quests, you will be able to start farming for your Kuva Lich, and then we'll get into that in a little bit. But as you can see, these are the quests right here. So you have your Rising Tide quest and the War Within quest right there to its right. With these quests, once you finish them and get access to the Railjack, I highly recommend doing some Railjack missions to level up your Railjack, whether it be make it survive a little bit longer, make sure it hits harder, upgrade it, put some mods on it, you know, what have you, just to make sure that you're not going to be struggling when you get to the Railjack mission itself, which we'll get to in a little bit later. But basically, you can go to your dojo once you get your Railjack and you can put stuff on it. You know, upgrades, mods, better equipment, things like that, in order to ensure your survivability, and to make sure that, you know, it's not going to be that hard once you get to that point, which I'll show you here in just a sec. Now, as I'm showing you guys this, there is one thing that I want to go over with the Kuva Lich, and that is what's called the Progenitor element. So what that means is any warframe that you start this quest with, sorry, not quest, any warframe that you start this farm with is going to spawn that element. So for example, if you're doing it with Ember and you spawn your Lich, that is going to make it a fire element. If you're doing it with Volt, that's going to make it an electric element. If you're doing it with Necros, that's going to make it a toxin. If you're doing it with Frost, it's going to make it a cold, you know, so on and so forth. You can check out the wiki for the table. It's on there. I just wasn't able to put it on here for whatever reason, but that is what you would also want to consider whenever you do the Kuva Lich. Now, when it comes to your Kuva Lich, there's a lot of different steps involved, one of them being Requiem mods. So as you can see, there's red hues all over Earth. That is my Kuva Lich. Basically, they will spawn on a planet, and then they start out level 1. Now you can see the weapon they have, the weapon bonus, the Progenitor, which is Volt Prime, and then their weaknesses and resistance. And then you can see in the right hand corner on the top, there is my Parazon with the Requiem relics and the Requiem mods. In order to get those, you have to do Requiem relic missions, known as Kuva Flood or Kuva Siphon missions, to get a Requiem relic to drop. Once a Requiem relic drops, you can do the Requiem fissure missions to unlock the relic to get those mods. Once you get those mods, that is where they go, right there in the known Requiem's slot. So basically, in order to fill those up, in order to know what the Requiem is, because we don't know them yet, you basically want to take on the Murmurs, which we'll get here in a little bit. But to start this off, you want to go to Cassini, which is on Saturn. It's a capture mission. You basically want to capture your target, and then there is going to be a visual effect that basically flickers on the screen, and then if you kill a certain number of enemies after that visual effect goes away, your Kuva Guardian is going to spawn on the right with some dialogue, and then the Kuva Larvaling will spawn. It's going to have a red symbol over its head, and then you basically take it down and choose to spawn it by doing the mercy kill, and that's going to start the Kuva Lich hunt. But as you can see here, I'm capturing my mission target, and then here in a little bit it'll do the visual effect flicker right about here. And then basically once that happens, you want to kill a certain amount of enemies within a certain time frame, so like 5 to 10 enemies within like 10 to 15 seconds. You can usually get a big group right about here. I think I killed like 15 dudes here. And your Kuva Guardian will, do the audio dialogue, and then your Kuva Larvaling will spawn, which is that red symbol there. So you're going to take down your Kuva Larvaling, and you can choose to mercy kill them or not. Now, if you don't mercy kill them, do not leave the mission. Do not abandon the mission. If you do, that gun, if you didn't like that gun, is going to go back into the pool as a result. Now, if you complete the mission, it takes that gun out of the pool. There's about 20 guns so far, so to keep constantly having that gun pop up would be frustrating if you're looking for a specific one. Now, this may take a couple of tries, a couple of target captures, which you'll see here. It took me a couple of tries, but once you get your Kuva Larvaling to spawn and it is a weapon that you want, you can basically choose to mercy kill your Lich, and then that's going to start the hunt. Now, if you don't kill your Lich, if you don't mercy kill it, then you can just let him be, just leave him on the ground, and then you can just complete the mission like normal. Because, like I said, if you abandon the mission, then you'll see that weapon again in the role in another future run. So this weapon, for example, if I abandon the mission, right, it's going to show up again later on, and I don't want that. So you just complete the mission. Now, as I said, this did take me a couple of tries to get the weapon I wanted. So you'll see here that this is now I think it's like my 4th or 5th run. But you capture your target, and then you get the visual effect on the screen, kill the enemies, and then the Kuva Guardian will say some stuff. And then you kill your Kuva Larvaling, and then take the weapon, essentially. Now, let's say, for example, if you don't know the weapon that you're getting, right? Well, of course you won't, but let's say, for example, if you don't know if it's good or not, right? I will be making a future video in order to discern what weapons are good and what weapons are just kind of subpar or average, or, they're not really worth your time. I'll go ahead and make another video of those, rating them all the way down the list, so that way you guys can know, from my opinion, just how good they are. Now, this does not mean anything when you have, like a Riven mod put on it, or if you have it built a certain way, or if your playstyle is a lot different than mine. So, if you see a weapon and you think it would be cool, go ahead and grab it, right? Because that would just be a lot better. This one here, the Kuva Hind, is really good. Honestly, if you see that weapon, just grab it. Don't even second guess it. Don't even question it. Just grab it. I promise I will not steer you wrong in that aspect. It's really good. However, if you don't know, I will be making a video to basically rate and drop whichever ones are good in a list, and even the ones that aren't good. Now, let's say, for example, if you don't know if a weapon's good or not, and you can't make up your mind, like you don't know if you want to spawn it, but it looks good, or you've used like a similar weapon type than that before, because all these weapons are basically upgraded versions of the originals. But if you don't make up your mind, then your Kuva Lich will unfortunately bite the dust like this, and they basically just fall and die, like so. Now, if you don't know if you want that weapon, I would say go ahead and grab it, because you can farm these pretty quickly. Especially after this video. Hopefully it helps you enough to be able to spawn enough liches to be able to get every single weapon, and then you can just kind of rate for yourself. But essentially, you're going to capture the target, find your Kuva Larvaling, and then spawn them. So you'll mercy kill them, you'll hold it, and then do just that. Now you'll complete the mission, and you'll see this weird kind of ominous glow happen whenever you get back to your orbiter. And that is where your Kuva Lich hunt will start. So as you can see here, it is now started. This Kuva Lich rises, and this is the start of it. Now, since I did it with Vault Prime, I do have a 20% chance to drop the Vengeful Charge Ephemera, and that is a really cool looking ephemera. That's why I want it. But it's only a chance, right? It's not a guarantee. But as you can see here, you have the weapons they have. You have the weapon bonus, the Progenitor on the left-hand side, and then you have your Requiems on the right-hand side, and then you have the Modified Parazon. Since we don't know any of the Requiems yet, we're not going to go ahead and get into that until a little bit later. But essentially, when you play these missions, you're going to do the controlled territory on the planet, and you're going to want to do this with a public squad or friends that have liches, right? You're basically going to go after these guys highlighted in blue. You're going to mercy kill them. It's going to fill up your Requiem meter. And then once you fill up 3 separate meters, you're going to know all of your symbols, and then you can take out your lich. The reason why I say to do this with a full squad is it increases your chance of more murmurs spawning. It basically just helps you fill the meter faster, essentially. But once you fill your meter, that pops up, so you can understand what your mods are that you need. In this clip, I did not have the mod at the time. I did get it in the future, but I didn't have it right then. So if you don't have a murmur that you need, or a mod, then you're basically going to farm for it in the Requiem fissure missions by using the Requiem relics. If you don't have that Requiem relic, it requires that symbol or that mod, you're going to do Kuva Siphon or Kuva Flood missions. The Kuva Flood has a guaranteed drop rate for a Requiem relic. It's random, so it's not guaranteed to be that specific one, but that is why you farm every single Kuva mission that you can, Kuva Flood and Kuva Siphon, which is in the alerts tab. But basically you make it radiant, and then you can farm the Requiem fissure missions just like the regular Void fissure missions. I recommend doing those with a full squad as well, just so you can increase your chances of dropping the relic mod that you want. But you'll essentially go through and do every mission on the planet until you figure out your murmurs. Now, if you run out of missions to do on that planet before you figure out your murmurs, then your lich is going to essentially level up and move to a different planet. But as you can see here, we go to a controlled territory, and we're just going through the murmurs. Now keep in mind, the more you stab your murmurs, the more pissed off your lich is going to get, and they're going to show up on your map like this. So your lich is going to show up, and you basically want to down them. Once they're down, you can stab them if you know the symbols. If you don't know the symbols or the murmurs, you're not going to stab them. You're just going to leave them on the ground until their health regenerates, and then you're going to put them on the ground again. While they're on the ground, you can go after the murmurs that they spawn, which is what I did here. So he's about to stand up again. As you can see, we're going to drop him real quick, and then I'm going to go after the other murmur that spawned, which is on the other side. So you could do that as well. You can have a friend or a public squad mate, basically keep them pinned down, and then, you can go after the murmurs. Once you down your lich 3 times, they get mad and they flee, and that means you can do the mission with ease, not having to worry about them blowing stuff up or failing it or whatever. Now, once you complete every single mission on the planet, they are going to go from level 1 to level 2, or, level 2 to level 3 or what have you, and they're going to get stronger. So it's going to happen one of 2 ways. Either A, you're going to stab your lich and be wrong with the symbol because we don't know them yet, or if you do know them, there is a chance that you are not going to be correct. In which case, it will show the symbol, like this one up here, the VOM symbol. Let's say, for example, this is my slot 1 symbol, right? And it's wrong. It's going to have a red X that goes through it, or like a red slash. And then your guy is going to go from level 1 to level 2. And then he's going to go from Earth to a different planet, and then you have to start over on that planet with him not being angry, which means you have to stab a bunch of murmurs to piss him off, and then you have to stab him again. Hopefully you're right with the next symbol, but it's essentially a guessing game until you figure out the first 2. But if you don't have the symbol, then Requiem relic grind for it in the fissure missions. But if you do have the symbol, you can stab him if you'd like, just to see if you're right? Now, I will say these fights are a little difficult. They're a little tricky if you're not prepared. So even though he's level 1, he's really not that hard. However, I was not prepared for this. This fight caught me off guard. I was not ready for him to show up. I was not the Warframe I needed to be. There's a lot of people in here. It's a very enclosed space. I was struggling. I'm not going to lie to you. But it is possible to take down your Lich. You just kind of have to play it smart and, you know, go from there and, you know, use your wits and gameplay sense and what have you to take care of it. Now, as you can see, I did not stab my Lich. However, I finished everything on that planet, so he moved automatically to a different planet and leveled up, which is okay. That's completely fine. Now, when he gets to level 4 and level 5, that's when you have an issue, because he will be very strong and you're definitely going to need some help to take him down, or you're going to need some really, 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 really strong weapons and warframes to do it by yourself. But as you can see, we're 2 out of 3 for the known Requiems. I apologize for the banner being in the way, but we're not quite there yet, so we still have a third one to go for. So we're going to go ahead and grind for that on Mars. And then, as you can see, I have a teammate here. His Lich spawns. He stabs him the first time. As you can see, his health bar is completely down, and then his second health bar starts to dwindle. There are 3 health bars, 1 for each symbol. So when you stab him and you get it right, then the second health bar becomes available to start chipping away. So then you basically get his second health bar down, you can stab him, which he does here. He's right again with his symbol. So his third health bar starts chipping away. So then he can essentially lay into him and I can help him. And then you can stab your Lich and poof. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, or however that saying goes. But now your Lich is going to spawn in a different part of the map, which we'll get to a little bit later. I am still dealing with my Lich, so I have my symbols, right? I have all 3, so I know which ones go where. Now, if you look on the right-hand side, you see that red slash, but the other 2 are white. So that means those 2 are correct, and the third one is wrong. So that first one that keeps on changing shape, that's what's known as an Ool Requiem mod. So that is essentially a joker or a wild card. So since that one is always going to be right, you always want to put it in the first slot, and then you want to make your second symbol, whichever one, and then you want to put your third symbol in there, again, whichever one. And as you can see, the Vom symbol was replaced with the wild card because the Vom has to be in the first slot, and then the Foss symbol, which is the third one, has to be in the third one because the second one's right. So if you basically just swap those, then, you know, you're ready to go. So I'm ready to go and take down my Lich. So I basically am going to piss off my Lich enough to where he spawns, and then we'll go ahead and take him out. Now, when it comes to fighting them, as you can see, I choose to solo him here currently. And, you know, I get the first stab, so that's correct. And then we're dwindling down to second health bar. They are a little bit tricky to fight because they do like to teleport, but we're going to take him out with the second one. There's the second symbol. Now we're going to chip away at his third health bar, and then we're going to take him out yet again. And then, as you can see here, 1, 2, and then 3. And now your Kuva Lich flees to Saturn Proxima. So what you're going to do is complete the mission, and then you're going to go into your Railjack in the top right corner. You'll see the symbol. And then in the middle, you're going to see the Saturn symbol right there on the top. There you go. And now you'll have your Kuva Lich confrontation. This is the Railjack part. This is why I suggest leveling up your Railjack, because there's a lot of people here and they hurt. So level up your Railjack. You're going to kill X amount of people, and then you are going to take out the crew ships, and then you're going to be able to board the Kuva Lich's ship. So this is why I recommend leveling up your Railjack, because as you can see, you know, they're level 30, which may not seem like a whole lot, but when it comes to Railjack missions, essentially you're taking on level 60 enemies. At least that's what it seems like. But you basically take out the fighters, and then you can take out these cruise ships. I basically sped this part up because I was tired of farming, quite frankly. So I was getting a little irritated because it just took so long for me to get to this part. But you can choose to speed it up by just blowing them up. Or you can board the mission, board the ship and blow it up that way, right? But once you're done with that, you're going to board the Galleon, which is the Kuva Lich's spaceship, their ship. And then this is where you can fight the Kuva Lich in and of itself. Now, I recommend doing this on public as well, just because for a couple of reasons. One, you can help them with their Lich, they can help you with your Lich, but you also have a chance of getting the ephemera that drops from their Liches. So let's say, for example, if I have my teammates, oh, quick pause. So once you kill your Lich right here, I killed him a lot faster than I thought I was going to, but once you get here, you can either convert them or you can vanquish them. So if you convert them, they become an ally on your ship. However, you cannot take their gun. I repeat, you cannot take their gun. But if you vanquish them, you get to keep their gun, which is what I did here. And then you basically complete the mission. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, right? Now, I recommend doing these on public because the more people you have on your squad, the more chances for murmurs to spawn, the better chance for you to get Requiem relics done in the fissure missions. And also, when you're fighting your Lich, you can only fight your Lich with other people if they have him on Saturn Proxima. If they don't, then it's not going to let them do it. So if you're wanting to do it with friends, they have to get to Saturn Proxima beforehand. But once you get the Lich killed and take their weapon, as you can see here, it's right there. So you go to your foundry, pull it out, and there you go. But the reason why I say to do it in a public setting is to have a better chance at getting the ephemera. So let's say, for example, you have Volt with all 4 of your teammates, right? Or all 3 of your teammates plus yourself, right? And you all start your Kuva Lich with Volt. You have, I'd say, probably about a 33 to 40% chance of spawning the ephemera if all 4 of you are to take down your Liches all at once. So if you all get to Saturn Proxima, and you all take down each one of your Liches, one of you might have the chance of getting the Vengeful Charge ephemera, which would be really cool. Or just any ephemera that they spawn with. I got an ephemera from a random person that I just did the match with. So yeah, I mean, you know, mostly do it in a public setting, but as to recap, basically go to capture mission on Saturn, Cassini, capture your main target. The TV static will happen, your Kuva larvaling will spawn, you mercy kill the Lich whenever you get your weapon that you want, and then you basically hunt down your murmurs, put the symbols in your Parazon, and then you can stab your Lich, fight him on the ship, kill him, there you go. But I'll be making sure to make more content in the future, so if I missed anything, please leave some feedback, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace!